What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Turf Therapy. So 7 days ago, I decided that I would get my last final mow in and go ahead and prepare as much as possible for the winter storm that was underway. But before we get into that, I want to just show you how much I enjoyed my final mow on the most beautiful day of December I've ever had. Check it out. Now, after I got that lovely mow in, I decided to use a new product called Amp XC. What's special about Amp XC is that outside of them having humic and iron, it also was loaded with a specific type of bacillus species, bacillus being a strain of bacteria, which it went hand in hand with everything I've been preaching this year as far as increasing your microorganism activity. So I threw that in a handy dandy Simple Lawn Solutions in-hose sprayer because, I mean, they work. They work and I enjoy using them. So I sprayed everything out, and then right after that, Mother Nature, well, she did her thing. 2 days after my final mow, I was about to hit the road, but I needed to do a couple things to, at the very least, my raised garden bed. Those hoop houses I've been telling you about all season, well, I finally threw them on because of the approaching weather. Now, that approaching weather was bringing us anywhere from 3 to 6 inches of snow, with the lows being in the 20 to 22 range and highs topping off at about a 35. Now, the hoop house did its job, and I'm very happy with the results with the 2 different materials I use. And even at that time, the lawn was still looking great. I can't say that Amp XC increased any color that I had, but I tell you this, it definitely didn't lose any color, and it looked just healthier overall. Needless to say, I like that stuff, and I'll definitely be getting my hands on it, and you'll be seeing more of it next season. So the inevitable was right around the corner. The snow was coming, and there was no signs of it shifting up a little north or shifting down south a little bit. So we just braced ourselves for impact because, I mean, what could you do? Now, being that this was my first winter storm, I really can't complain with the color that we still have in mid-December. I mean, look at this, very little browning. Of course, she's pretty much frozen in time now, so she won't be growing much more. And I know y'all want to see the side plot as well. Now, for the most part, we're still looking pretty darn good. I mean, I still got my stripes burnt in, so that's cool. But I think this is it. That was definitely the final mow. We will not be getting any more mows in because it looks like winter is here to stay. Now, just some quick observations that we'll go over in a future video with the garden, but it looks like for sure the cabbage that was unprotected, uncovered, did not do as well as the cabbage that was in my little hoop house. Now, the kohlrabi is still performing quite well. It definitely liked these conditions, and the bulb, well, that bulb is getting bigger. So is that one, and the leaves look really healthy, and so does that dill. Now, the biggest advice that I could give to any of you that I think that I probably dropped the ball on is mulching. I didn't properly come out here and mulch the areas that could have been mulched. So I think things like my yellow heart choy took way more damage than it probably would have if I would have came out here and mulched it or covered it. Now, on the upside, my things like collards, my Morris heading collards, they look pretty miserable right now, but don't let them fool you. They're still very much alive. And I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna mulch all this stuff in, including these carrots that are still good to harvest. We have plenty of roots that are still down there. So what I think I'm gonna do today is the radishes, they're definitely done. The tops, they have been burnt. They have been frost burnt, freeze burnt, and completely wilted. So what we're gonna do is get all of these out, and we're also going to go ahead and take up the yellow heart choy that is pretty much prime for a vegetable soup now. Public service announcement for you guys that are growing in containers like myself. The soil is frozen. Like, the top inch layer is completely frozen, which I expected, to be quite honest. I figured because they were in containers, they would definitely freeze before the natural ground would, and that's exactly what happened. No sweat there. So when I harvest these rutabagas, I'm gonna need a spade to get in there and work the soil so I don't break any of the roots of the vegetables that I'm trying to harvest for my vegetable soup. So let's get this stuff harvested real quick and get you guys out of here. We got our yellow heart choys, and then we have our radishes and rutabagas in here. This was the black nebula carrots. They're still in there. I just put this on here to help maybe keep that soil a bit warmer until I get ready to harvest it, so I won't have to fight as much as I did with those rutabagas to get them out of the ground. Pretty much wraps this episode up, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And I'll see you next time for your weekly dose of therapy with Rob.